Is there anyone else you think the Broncos need to really take a hard look at? And has Sean Payton, by virtue of what's happening now with Harbaugh and by virtue of what it would really cost the Broncos to get him from New Orleans, is he still high on your list?
Of course. I mean, I know the compensation is going to be pretty costly, and the Broncos might have, you know, they might be gun shy after the Russell Wilson trade, but he's still one of the brightest offensive minds of this generation, and he's the type of natural leader the Broncos need. So, yeah, he's definitely 1A, but Jim Harbaugh, who I discounted a few weeks ago, is now the clear 1B, and he might soon be the favorite. And like you mentioned, you don't have to give up draft compensation to acquire his rights. He's available as long as you pay him enough money and he accepts the job offer. He's yours, and he's still a bright mind. He's still the leader they need. He still would provide the Broncos with that spark and hold the players accountable. So aside from Peyton and Harbaugh, it really falls off a cliff after that, Chad, when you are faced with the prospect of such a bright offensive mind or a natural leader. Then you maybe settle for a retread like a Dan Quinn or a Frank Reich. One's a sexy move and one is not so sexy.
If this were a normal hiring cycle, I could actually still get very excited about a Frank Reich. He would be like very much near the top of my list. And I know he flamed out in Indy, but you think back, Zach, to the impact he had on that Philadelphia offense, the stewardship he had over Carson Wentz and then Nick Foles, and then going the distance, and then he gets the job in Indy, and Andrew Luck says goodbye. A lot of bad luck and turnover at the quarterback position ultimately doomed him. I like what he could do offensively, and from a discipline, just a team that has their you-know-what together. I like the idea of Frank Reich, but when you put him on a list with Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and even Dan Quinn up there on the same level, I would say, as a Frank Reich. I would actually maybe be more interested in Frank Reich than Dan Quinn. He loses his luster, does Reich, just a little bit.